Shalom. I want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostle and elders, great millstone, rule well. Peace and salutations to the house of David, the elect man pushing this truth and faith and sincerity. Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakadash, Barakatham. It's all you sincere listeners who may tune into this. All right. This is the brother Yatazakah coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakadash. All praise and honor due. And I want to entitle this lesson, What Separates You from those who are just dwelling in the world? What separates you from those, so to speak, who are not in the truth? You know, because we are supposed to be separate, from the world. We're supposed to be separate from those, dwelling in the world. What communion does light have with darkness? What fellowship does the lamb have with the wolf? And the godly with the ungodly. So we are supposed to be separate. Especially as servants of Yahweh Shema Shah, we're supposed to be on a higher level, you know, a higher level than those who, are, just dwelling in the world, you know, bullshit, It's a like you. Let me take this up.
But we're supposed to be on a higher level than those just, dwelling in the world, so to speak, you know. So, without further ado, I'm just going to jump into some scripts. Let's get this in, we're going to start here in Ephesians 4. This is Ephesians 4, and I'm going to just start at 11. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, which apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors and teachers, they're pretty much all.
So that's what Yahweh Shah Mashiach has given, Salakia.
Salakia. It says, verse 12, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach. So that's why Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, led captivity captive and gave gifts to men, for ultimately for the perfecting of the saints in the work of the ministry, for the growth of the body of a Mashiach, which is ultimately the third temple, which represents, which represents men, represents the service of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, you know. It says, verse 13, till we all come in the unity of the faith, till we all come into the unity of the faith, because that's what it's all about. We're supposed to all be coming into the unity of the faith together, man, as a body, Lord willing, we those men. And the knowledge of Yahweh, unto a perfect man. Yeah, so we're supposed to be coming into the knowledge of Yahweh unto a perfect man, because the knowledge of Yahweh, the ways of Yahweh, is what makes us perfect, and the ways of Yahweh Bashim are manifold, and it's various things. It's also simple too, it's not really rocket science, man, you know, on how we can become unto a perfect man, but ultimately we come unto a perfect man not together. So we're supposed to be of the same mind, which, in the scripture, this chapter, if you read up, it talk about how it's one baptism and one mind, scripture speak about how we're supposed to be of the same mind, so we together collectively make up the body of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, which is that perfect man, and that's, we're supposed to be building ourselves up to be perfect, building each other up to be perfect, it says, and of the knowledge of the Son of Yahweh unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of a Mashiach. Yeah, into the measure of the stature of the fullness of a Mashiach, man. And how do we bring ourselves up to that measure of the fullness of a Mashiach Yahweh Shah? Is by doing what Mashiach Yahweh Shah told us to do, so we can be found without spot, without blame, Verse 14, it says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, so we don't supposed to be tossed to and fro, we don't supposed to be knocked off our square easily, It says, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, with every wind of doctrine, the way things are taught, the different instruction by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, by the sleight of men, which let's see if we can get that sleight. by the sleight of men. Um, I don't know if you brothers can hear it, but it says basically metaphorically the deception of men, because dice players sometimes cheated and defrauded their fellow players. Pretty much, fraud, fraudulent activity, So, we aren't supposed to easily, uh, be carried about with, fraudulent activity or fraudulent words. It says in cunning craftiness, which we know that these demons pertaining to Ephesians the 6th chapter, they're all about cunning arts, you know, which is, or the wiles of the devil, man. So these demons can work through, you know, uh, different men's mind, It says whereby they lie in wait to deceive. It says, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even the Mashiach, So we supposed to be speaking the truth in love, that we may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even the Mashiach, So, that's how we come to the full stature of Yahushua Mashiach, is by speaking the truth in love, you know what I'm saying, and ultimately standing on our square, continuing in those things which we have learned, This is verse 16, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, making increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. So that's how, you grow up. That's how you're raised up. That's how you're brought into the full stature of Yahushua Mashiach. Is an increase is through the edifying of the body and love. Which is the brotherly love that we have amongst each other. By feeding each other and nurturing each other, encouraging and admonishing one another to continue in the faith. It says, verse 17, this I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. So it says, this I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. Which, we're not supposed to be walking as, just how the natural Gentile in this world walks. We're supposed to be renewed inwardly, man. He is a Jew which is one inwardly. We don't supposed to be like, of course, we still amongst these Gentiles and, look like, an unnatural Gentile, or, like these natural Gentiles, but we don't supposed to walk like them, which they walk in the vanity of their mind. We're supposed to be walking into the full measure of the stature of Yahushua Mashiach. We're supposed to be fitly joined together, within the body of Yahushua Mashiach, which is being of the same mind ultimately, So that's what separates us from, those which are in the world. Lord willing, we those men, because we're not walking in the vanity of our minds. We're being of the same mind, which is, the mind of Yahushua Mashiach. It says, verse 17, this I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart. Which, we don't want to be blinded in our minds, man. We don't want to be alienated, from a life of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, from the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Why? Because we're walking in the vanity of our mind, doing things that we think are okay. Because that's how the average, person in the world conducts themselves. They just walk in the vanity of their mind because they think that's right. But we're not supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to just walk according to what we think is right. We're supposed to walk according to what, how Yahushua Mashiach would want us to walk. It says, verse 19, whom being past filling have given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. Let's get this word lasciviousness. Let's get this word lasciviousness. Lasciviousness. G766, and it says pretty much excess, licentiousness, wantonness, outrageousness, shamelessness, insolence. Matter of fact, let's look at this word insolence up. Let's look it up on see what kind of synonyms we get for it. Salakia. So we don't supposed to have unbridled desires as those in the world. They just like to feed their belly. Do things in excess. We don't supposed to be excessive. Oh, insolence. Go insolence right here. Rude or disrespectful behavior, man. So we don't supposed to, have rude and disrespectful behavior. We don't supposed to be, being rude and disrespectful, man. This we're not insolent. We're not insolent. You know, that's how those in the world are. Where the number one rude and disrespectful behavior they have is just their blatant disrespect towards the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. And by just completely disregarding the ways of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. By just bucking on it. Not putting themselves in subjection to the rule of Yahushua Mashiach. That's the number one rude and disrespectful behavior. But also, you can be rude and disrespectful by how you carry yourself, how you talk to people, how you treat people, and how you're acting. You can have rude and disrespectful behavior within your conduct as well. Going to this word, some of the synonyms for this word insolence is bad manners. So we supposed to have good manners, man. Well, it say evil communication corrupt good manners, man. You know what I'm saying? So we supposed to have good communication. Why? So we don't corrupt good manners. It says impudence, cheek, incivility. Being incivil. Uh, being impudent. Disrespect, discourtesy, contempt. Which we don't supposed to be contemptuous either. Insubordination. Being out of order. Forwardness, presumption, presumption, which we want to be kept away from presumptuous sins. I believe as Apostle Salakia, as King David said. I think he said, keep me away from presumptuous sins. Yeah, I think that was in Psalm 17. It says insults, insulting, man. So we don't supposed to be insulting and insulting people out here, man. There's insolence. That's how people do in the world. They insult each other, and disrespect each other. Contempt each other. They're incivil unto each other. They have bad manners unto each other. They're insubordinate. Things are things are against nature. It says abuse. Abusing people. Bad mouthing people, man. Uh, Contumely. Pertness. Yeah, so bad mouthing, man. That's a part of it too, man. That's a part of lasciviousness. Ultimately, this being filthy. Which all of our righteousness is as filthy rags. But people in the world, they're not even following after righteousness. Period. So they're completely unclean. And we're supposed to put ourselves away from uncleanness. We're supposed to be clean, man. We know Yahweh Shemashah divided the clean from the unclean and the profane from the holy from the profane. Which we're supposed to be holy. Which means set apart. We're not supposed to be profane. This verse 19, it says, who being past filling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness, but ye have not so learned Hamashiach. Yeah, so if you are still being lascivious, which, could mean insolent, you're still being you know, not exercising temperance on all levels. You're not, including how you treat people, especially those of your, of your own nation or just period. You don't know how to act, man. Or you thinking that you're better than somebody. You're being prideful. You're being prideful. You're being arrogant. You know, you have not learned Hamashiach because Yahushua Mashiach, he was lowly, which we're supposed to be lowly. You know, it says, but ye have not so learned Hamashiach. It says, if so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him as the truth is in Yahushua, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. So we supposed to put off the old man, which the old man was about wantoness, insolence, unbridled lust, you know, was exhibiting rude and disrespectful behavior, man. You know, we're supposed to put that off, man. We're supposed to be new creatures, man. We're supposed to exhibit, you know, exhibit class on the ultimate level. You know, it says verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. So you're supposed to be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Your mind is supposed to be in a whole new spirit. What spirit is your mind supposed to be in? The mind of Yahushua Mashiach, man. You're supposed to be moving according to the mind of the Lord, man. Being fitting yourself in that body, man. That effectual working. Being fitly compacted together with the other members, man. You know, which us as brothers, we're supposed to be renewed in the spirit of our mind together, man. Moving how Yahushua Mashiach would want us to move, man. Not moving according to how our mind would want us to move. Walking after the vanity of our minds like the Gentiles, man. Just doing something because we feel like it's okay within our mind. No, we're supposed to be moving according to the mind of Yahushua Mashiach, in the body of Yahushua Mashiach, you know. It says, verse 24, and that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, is created in righteousness and true holiness. Yeah, so that's what makes you truly separate, is when you put on the new man, which is created after Yahweh Bashem Yahushua in righteousness, man. That's what, really sets you apart, man. So what really sets you apart. It's going to go into it a little bit. He says, wherefore put away lying. So, we're not supposed to lie, speak every man truth with his neighbor. Yeah, so we're not supposed to be, devising lies, and devising mischief amongst our brothers. We're supposed to be speaking truth, speaking truth unto our neighbor, man. Which, the scriptures tell you in Psalms 119, the law is thy truth, but Yahushua Mashiach, he told us, the law is fulfilled in, our love towards our brothers and our neighbors, man. So in love, we know that the word love goes into charity, and benevolence, compassion, which, we're supposed to be giving compassion one to another, encouraging, nurturing one another, man, cherishing and enduring, and ultimately helping, build each other up, edifying one another in love. Like it just said up in the same chapter. It says, for we are members one of another, right? It's Christian tell you in Sirach 14, he that is evil unto himself, to whom will he be good, man? So we're not supposed to be evil unto ourselves, man. If you evil unto your own self, then, shit, you ain't got no love for nobody out here. You ain't got no love for nothing, It says, verse 26, it says, be ye angry and sin not. Yeah, so, you be angry, because it tell you, well, surely oppression make up a wise man mad. But ultimately, we're not supposed to avenge ourselves. We know we're supposed to wait upon the Lord. We're not supposed to resist the powers that be. It says, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Yeah, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. That's something that, the old man would do. He's angry. He's wrathful. He's feeling some type of way. He's mad, and he just sleep on it and doesn't address it, man. And just let it build up. Let his anger build up to a point where, He's unleashing it, you know, uh, on a maximum level, man. You know what I'm saying? And being real, distraught, man. You know, it says, verse 27, neither give place to the devil. Yeah, so we're not supposed to give place unto the devil, man. Which ultimately, the devil has many cunning tricks, man. Which we know we had the physical devil, the physical counterpart to the spiritual demon Satan. A devil, the devil on earth, which is the so-called white man, who is actually, putting out enchantments and using different sorceries and all type of wicked acts to be able to, keep control over our people, man. But we have devils amongst our people and devils out here, period, man, who are lying in wait to deceive, the sleight of men. But we're not supposed to give place unto that. It says, "Let him that stole steal no more." So once this is how you put on a new man, by not being angry, not letting the sun go down on your wrath, being angry but not sinning. So like you, not letting the sun go down on your wrath, putting away lying, being subject one to another, speaking truth one to another, loving one another. It says, "Let him that stole no more," stealing no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Right? That's what it's all about. We're supposed to be giving to those who need. We're supposed to be nurturing one another, man. We're supposed to be laboring for one another, like Hebrews the 6th chapter tell you. Yahweh Shema Shah is not unrighteous to forget your work and your labor of love which you have showed towards his name, and that you have ministered unto his saints, serving the saints, which that's why Yahweh Shema Shah gave us this ability to be new men and new creatures. Why? For the perfecting of the saints, like we read up in this chapter. It says, verse 29, "Let no corrupt communication proceedeth out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying." Yeah, so that's what it's all about, man. We're supposed to have corrupt communication coming out of our mouth, which ultimately going into speaking perverse doctrines. You know what I'm saying? But just period, man. If it's not good to use for growth, and building, then they're not supposed to be coming out of our mouth, man. That's that insolence, man. Those are those unbridled lusts, just saying whatever the hell you want to say or moving according to your mind, man. If any man speak not according to this word, you know what I'm saying? We supposed to be speaking according to this word, man. We supposed to be thinking according to the mind of Yahweh Shai. It says, "Let no corrupt communication, Salakia, proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." Yeah, so that's what we're supposed to be about, ministering grace, because we're under grace. We were given faith and the ability to believe, through grace. We were given grace, which is favor to, even be able to be brought back to Yahweh Shema Shai. So we're supposed to give grace unto the hearers, and it says, verse 30, "And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, whereby ye are sealed unto this day of redemption." Right, and one's supposed to grieve the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. How are you grieving the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai? When you're, letting corrupt communication come out of your mouth. When you're not working with your hands to do the things which is good, man. When you're not edifying, when you're lying, when you're not speaking truth unto your neighbor, when you're not being loving, when you're giving place to the devil, when you're, letting the sun go down upon your wrath, man. Those things are what grieves the Holy Spirit, of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, "Let all bitterness." It says, "Let all bitterness." Let's get this word, bitterness. 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 G4088. It says, extreme wickedness. A bitter root, and a pretty much metaphorically bitter hatred. So hatred, man. Your bitter hatred, man. Your bitterness, your extreme wickedness. Figuratively bitterness. Which, matter of fact, I'm gonna get some synonyms for it. Let's get some synonyms for this bitterness. Salakia, bear with me, brothers. There you go. Bitterness. Resentment, so your resentment, you know, uh dissatisfaction. Woo, you're being dissatisfied. Discontent, damn. Indignation, woo, your righteous anger, damn. Spite, uh unpleasantness, nastiness, awfulness, upset, heartache, uh sorrow, sadness, distress, desolation, despair, desperation, intensity, um, hostility, enmity, friction, anger, viciousness, ill feeling, bad blood, malevolence, malevolence, if I'm saying that right, Salakia. Hatred, loathing, clower, you know, yeah, man, antagonism, man, this detestation. It said, well, let's read this in Ephesians 4:31. It says, let all bitterness, enmity, ill will, hatred, bad blood, spite, clower, indignation, you know, and wrath and anger, you know what I'm saying, and clamor. Let's get that word clamor. Let's see what we get for that. Clamor is a outcry, crying, it's a mote of grief, man. You know, which we know we're supposed to cry and sigh for all the abominations that's done there in the midst thereof. You know, for all the abominations that's done, so like in the midst thereof. You know, uh, ultimately, which our people, our brothers, don't supposed to be abominations unto us, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? It says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, with all malice, with all malice. So you're supposed to let all bitterness, anger, and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you, man. Why? Because that's the new man after the image of Yahweh Shema Shah. And what? It says, and be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yahweh for Mashiach's sake have forgiven you. So that's how you be a new man, by being kind one to another, man. Which Jake, he don't want to fucking be kind. I'm not being kind to nobody. You know, fuck being kind. You know, you know, Jake don't want to be kind. You know, Jake too tough for that. Let's get G2155. Oh, kind, having strong bowels, which bowels of mercies. The house of David. That's what the house of David represents. Bowels of mercies. So being kind-hearted means to have strong bowels, or compassionate. Be compassionate, man. Going to the Strong's definition, be sympathetic. We're supposed to be sympathetic, man. Well compassion, pitiful, man. So we're supposed to be pitiful, man. Sympathetic and well compassion. You know, to one another, man. So who is the one another, man? That's those who are of the faith, and those who are of our nation, man. Who could possibly come into the faith. You know, it says, and be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted. So like that was, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yahweh for Mashiach's sake have forgiven you. So we're supposed to be kind-hearted and tenderhearted. Kind one to another and be tenderhearted, man. Be compassionate to each other, sympathetic. You know, that's the new man. That's the new man that we supposed to be, man. You know, which is there shouldn't be no big issue, man. Because here it is. We want Yahweh by Shem Yahushua to be kind unto us and be forgiving and to us and tenderhearted unto us. So we have to exhibit those same qualities, man. If we want it, if you want something, you have to give it out, man. Uh, Salakia. Bear with me, brother. Salakia. prees. I got several prees, I want to go into. Let me see. Bear with me, brothers. Spiritual thing is Satan trying to hinder. There you go. Okay, let's go here to Colossians. Spirit been having me bring this out a lot lately too. This is some heavy business right here. This is Colossians chapter 3 verse 5. It says, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth." Let's get that word mortify. Mortify. Put off that old man. Put him to death. Woo! Here, go right here. I didn't even know it said that. It says to make dead, to put to death, slay of an impotent old man. Put off that old man. To deprive of power, destroy the strength of. So we're supposed to destroy the strength of that old man. Which was angry. Which was insolent. Which was kind-hearted. Which was walking after the vanity of his own mind. We're supposed to destroy him, subdue him, and, deprive the power of that old man. How do we do that? By, walking within the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, by Shem Kakadash. It says, which, we was reading in Ephesians, the 4th chapter, on how we do that, how do we put on the new image that is created after Yahweh Shema Shai, This Colossians 3 and 5 says, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication and uncleanness, inordinate affection." Let's get that word, inordinate affection.
Strong's G 3806. Pathos.
This is an affliction of the mind, emotion, passion. Yeah, affliction of the mind, emotion or passion. You're supposed to mortify your emotions and your passions. You're supposed to subdue them. Especially of the old way you were thinking. It says a feeling which the mind suffers. Is an evil desire, an ungovernable desire. Affection, or lust. A desire. So basically, your different passions and emotions. The different calamities and mishaps. Which arise within your mind. You're supposed to mortify those and subdue those. It says evil concupiscence, which we went into this in camp this previous Saturday. Let's see, get that word. Conspicuous. Yeah, G 1939. Craving, longing, desire for what is forbidden. Which what's forbidden as for acting in any type of way is forbidden, man. We had to move according to how Yahweh Shema Shai want us to move out here, man. You can't just be moving how you want to move. That's forbidden. You can't just do the things that you once would do. You can't just say the things that you once would say in the world. That's what those in the world do. It says, and covetousness, which is idolatry, which is, wanting something. Being stubborn is a sin of idolatry. You don't want to, be that new man created after the image of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's idolatry, man. That's basically thinking that your way is better, man. Or, like you would think a idol
The way is better, you know. It says, for which things sake the wrath of Yahweh Shema shall come upon the children of disobedience. So, you know, you being inordinate, you know, you're having concupiscence, you know, a craving desire to do something that's forbidden, you know, or do something that, you know, you ought not do, you know, according to the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shah, you know, the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah will come upon you for that, you know. And that's why the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah is going to come upon 2/3 of our people, man. You know, because they refuse to start walking after the vanity of their mind and subdue that creature that's not after Yahweh Shema Shah. It says, verse 8, but now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
Yeah, so we supposed to put off all these things, you know, off that, you know, that old man. When we went into that word mortified, really means of, it literally meant of the impotent old man, you know. So what's of that old man, you know? What's on the old man: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, and filthy communication. You know, that's a part of that old man, which we, you know, we don't supposed to exhibit none of the qualities of an old man: being angry, being wrathful, you know, having malice, you know, being, you know, blaspheming, you know, having blasphemy, you know, blaspheming Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, having filthy communication come out of our mouth. Here go again, lie not, like it said in Ephesians the 4th chapter, lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds. Right, you see, so it's telling you that's how you put off the old man with his deeds, you know, is by, you know, putting off anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication, you know, lying not one to another, you know. It says, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in the image after, so like in renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. Yeah, Yahweh Shem Shah, you know. And how do you, you know, put on that new man after Yahweh Shem Shah? By putting off, you know, malice, blasphemy, and things of that nature, man. Uh, you know, filthy communication, you know, by mortifying that old man, subduing him, you know. It says, verse 11, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian or Scythian, bond nor free, but Hamashiach is all and in all. It says, so you know, Yahweh Mashiach is all and in all, man. Why? Because through Yahweh Shai is the only through our Lord Yahweh Mashiach, you know, that's the only reason we have a chance at salvation. That's the only reason our nation is gonna be saved, you know. So really, Yahushua Mashiach embodies Israel, you know, pertaining to Hebrews 7:14 too, where it say it's evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, you know, which Judah is the lead tribe, which Yahushua Mashiach is the lead spirit, you know. Let's go read let's read 12. It says put on therefore as the elect of Yahweh Shema Shai. So we supposed to be putting on as the elect of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, which that, you know, that's what separates us from those in the world, you know, putting on as the elect. How do you do that? Holy, you know, being set apart, you know, not, you know, acting as those act in the world, you know, who, you know, can't mortify their members, you know, can't mortify their passions or their emotions, you know, can't put off, you know, the old man and his deeds, you know. It says, put on therefore as the elect of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, by having bowels of mercies, you know, being beloved, you know, kindness, humbleness of mind by being kind, you know, being kind-hearted, like we read, you know. This is how you put on, this is how you separate yourself from those in the world, by being kindness, you know, by having, you know, true, you know, natural affection, you know, by, you know, having bowels of mercies, you know. It says humbleness of mind, by having humbleness of mind, man. You know, humbleness of mind, just like, you know, Yahweh Shemal Shai, you know, has humbleness of mind. You know, he has respect unto the lowly. He deals with the lowly. He deals with the humble. You know, it says he resists the proud, but give grace unto the humble. You know, that's why we're supposed to have humbleness of mind. You know, not, you know, being high-minded. You know, it says that's not of Yahweh Shemal Shai. It says meekness, meekness and long suffering, right? We're supposed to have long suffering one to another, man. In the world, that's that in the world spirit, there ain't nothing to cut a bitch off. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing to cut that bitch off. You know what I'm saying? That's not being long suffering, you know. On to the next one. You know what I'm saying? It's like you. It says verse 13, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. So we're supposed to be forbearing one another and forgiving one another. And if any man have a quarrel against any, even as a Mashiach forgave you, so also do ye. Yeah, so, we're supposed to forbear one another and forgive one another, you know. And if we have a quarrel against anyone, we're supposed to forgive them as Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is forgiving us, man. That's what separates us from those in the world, man. We don't hold grudges. We're not, we're not holding on to hatred. We're not, trying to render evil for evil. This 1044 too called out Yahweh Shai. We're not trying to we're trying to be bigger men, like they say in the world. That's putting on as the elect of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, and above all these put on charity, which is Salakia. The phone's so sensitive. It says, and above all these things put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. So that's what brings us to that perfect stature. The fullness of a Mashiach, man, is that charity. Which when you go into that word charity, it goes into the Greek word agape, which goes into benevolence. When you go into that word benevolence, one of the synonyms for it is compassion. So being compassionate and sympathetic. That's the bond of perfectness, which that's what fitly joins us together. Is our love one to another. And that's what separates us from those in the world. That's why Yahweh Shai Mashiach said, by this shall all men know that you're my disciples, that ye love one another. It says, verse 15, and let the peace of Yahweh by Shem Yahshai rule in your hearts. So the peace of Yahweh by Shem Yahshai is supposed to rule in our hearts, man. Rule in our minds. We're supposed to be about peace, man. That's why I say in Matthew the 5th chapter, blessed are the peacemakers, man. That's a part of spiritual wisdom. It's peace. It says, and let the peace of Yahweh Shem Yahshai rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body. Right. So that's what makes us of the body of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, is letting peace rule in our minds. And be ye thankful. We're supposed to be thankful that we have the ability to have what it takes to make up the body of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, which comes by being in the spirit of peace, being in the spirit of meekness, things of that nature. That's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, that's literally what what it takes for you to be separate and set apart from those in the world. Verse 16 says, let the word of a Mashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. So we're supposed to be admonishing one another, man, teaching one another, man, speaking one to another in psalms, man, and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with the grace in our hearts, to the Lord, which that's going into us, putting out these video epistles, also, us being charitable amongst each other and encouraging each other and admonishing one another to continue in the faith, being here for one another, speaking according to the word of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. It says verse 17, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him. Yeah, so whatever we do, we got to give thanks to Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and we got to do it in the name of Yahweh Shai. If we doing something in the name of Yahweh Shai, we got to make sure we come correctly, man. Because Yahweh Shai ain't just gonna put his name on anything. He ain't gonna put his stamp on anything. So we got to make sure, look, man, would Yahweh Shai be cool with me saying this? Would Yahweh Shai Hamashiach be cool with my actions on how I'm handling this? Am I moving like Yahweh Shai Mashiach would want me to move out here? Will he be okay with this? You know, let's go. That's what sets us apart from those in the world, man. You know, because we consider what Yahweh Shai Mashiach, you know, would feel about something. You know, how he would feel about something. You know, that we do. You know, let's go here. This is Salakia. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17. It says, therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature, right? So if we really in Hamashiach, you know, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai really dealing with us, you know, we're gonna be new creatures. You know, it says, old things are passed away, behold, all things are become new. Yeah, so we truly are, you know, be in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and he abide in us, you know, we're completely new creatures, and the old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. So we're everything that we do is new. You know, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we talk, the way we act, the way we move. You know, the way we think. You know, all those things are new. You know, and how are they new? Because we're moving and thinking and acting as if Yahweh Shai Mashiach would. You know, let's go right here. This Mark chapter 2. Verse 21, it says, no man also seweth a piece of new cloth on an old garment, else the new piece that is filled it up taketh away from the old, and the rent is made worse. And no man putteth new wine into old bottles, unless the new wine doth burst the bottles, and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be marred, but new wine must be put into new bottles. Yeah, you know, the new wine is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, the gospel, the truth. You know, that's the new wine. You know, in the old bottle, Salakia, in the old bottle would be considered unto the old man. You know, so you can't mix two things that don't match. You know, it's gonna cause a combustion. You know, so we have to be new men. You know why? So we could put this new wine, you know, which is, you know, this truth, you know, ultimately join them together. You know, submerge them together. You know, just like I say, you know, no man seweth a piece of new cloth on the old garment. You know, so we're not gonna, you know, try to, you know, mix this truth, you know, with, you know, a Gentile way of thinking. You know, we're gonna completely submit ourselves unto the truth. You know, unless, you know, ultimately, you know, we just made into some even worse type of niggas, some worse type of Gentiles, even more proud in, you know, the vanity of our mind, you know, because we receive this truth, and then ultimately, you know, is more for our detriment than our benefit. You know, let's get this in Second Ezra's. Second Ezra's. Salakia. Second Ezra's 14 and verse 13. It says, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to set our house in order and reprove our people. You know, instruct them in the way of righteousness, you know, and comfort such of them that be in trouble, which, you know, our people are in trouble, which ultimately we coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, you know. That we're pretty much in it, you know. It says, verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Yeah, so we're supposed to cast away our mortal thoughts. The way we was thinking as just the old man, we're supposed to put those type of thoughts away, you know. It says put off the weak nature. Yeah, you know, not, you know, having restraint, you know, not having temperance, you know, not, you know, just indulging in wantonness, you know. It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Yeah, we're supposed to set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto us. You know, so if a thought is really heavy on us, and we like, man, I gotta jump on this, we're supposed to haste to flee from these times. That's what it's really supposed to be about. And Salakia, how do we haste to flee from these times that we're in? Well, that's by sealing up the elect, you know. Salakia, Lord willing, uh, this is not interrupted. Verse 16, it says, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast been, Salakia, which thou hast seen happen, shall be done hereafter." Yeah, so that's what we gotta consider too. You know, the things that we might see right now that we like, oh man, that's evil, that's wicked as hell, man. It's finna be some real high level evil, wicked stuff going on, man. You know what I'm saying? So we supposed to be preparing each other to be prepared for that, bro. You know, we're supposed to be preparing each other and building each other up so we could be prepared for that. You know, that's what sets us apart from those in the world, man. You know, they think they seeing something, but they haven't seen nothing yet, man. You know, and that's how we supposed to be, you know, or we think we seen something, we haven't seen nothing yet, you know. That's pretty much it on that, though. Salakia. Let's go here to Ephesians 2. And for time's sake, you know, I know I'm kind of out here. You know, I might have to do a part 2 to this. Yep. This is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1. "And you have he quickened who are dead in trespasses and sins." So we're supposed to be dead in trespasses and sins. "Where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience." Woo, that's the spirit that worketh in the children of disobedience, you know, because they haven't put out trespasses and sins. You know, and that's how we were, you know, when we was walking according to the course of this world, you know. It says, "Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others." Yeah, so that's another thing too. You know, we got to remember, like, look, we was once children of wrath too. You know, we were once children of wrath as well, man. You know, so that's why, you know, we got to, you know, treat those children of wrath with, you know, those who may be, you know, the children of wrath with, you know, a little bit more reverence, man, and look, be more forbearing, you know, because we were once, you know, walking according to the course of this world, you know. It says, "But Yahweh Shem Yashah, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us," you know, so we supposed to be rich in mercy and great love as well, you know. It says, "Even when we were dead in sins, have quickened us together with the Mashiach, by grace ye are saved." You know, so we're saved through grace, you know. And that's why we're supposed to give grace, you know, so Lord willing, you know, others can be saved, you know. It says, verse 6, which ultimately we're not saved yet, you know, but that's if we are those men, that's how we're gonna be saved, you know. It's through the grace of Yahweh Shem Shah, you know. And that's how we want to, you know, help others be saved, you know, by giving them grace as we have received grace, you know. It says, verse 6, "And have raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Hamashiach Yahushua, that in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace and his kindness towards us through Hamashiach Yahushua. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and not of yourselves. It is the gift of Yahweh Shem Yashah." So, you know, we can't be acting like we, you know, we self-made and self-paid out here, man. You know, Yahweh Shem Yashah gave us a gift, you know, which, you know, people in the world, they, you know, I did this. I'm self-made, you know. It's a bigger picture than that, you know. It says, "Not of works, lest any man should boast, for we are his workmanship." Right, we are his workmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushua unto good works, which Yahweh have before ordained that we should walk in them. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without a Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without Yahweh in the world. You know, and that's, you know, that's our people, man. They're, you know, they're strangers from the commonwealth of Israel, you know, which we once were as well, you know. And we got to keep that in mind too. That's why we got to set ourselves apart. By being completely humble and meek and lowly. And having long suffering. It says, but now in the Mashiach Yahushai, yea, who sometimes were far off, are made nigh by the blood of Mashiach. For he is our peace, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself to twain one new man, so making peace. So that's what it's all about. Yahushua Mashiach, he has abolished the enmity, even the law of the commandments contained in ordinances. So if Yahushua Mashiach has abolished it, we're not supposed to be within that enmity of the law of the commandments, and the ordinances, man. We're supposed to be of that new man who makes peace, like Yahushua Mashiach. That's what separates us from those in the world, man. We're about making peace, man. We're about peace, true peace, because you ain't about peace just because you protesting. You got people who are protesting thinking that's gonna make peace. That's just not making peace. It's not making peace. Well, if you got a protest, that's not peaceful. So it's more to it than that. Let's get this in 1 John 3 and 10. This 1 John chapter 3 verse 10. And this the children of Yahweh Bashim Yashar are manifest, and the children of the devil. So this is how the children of Yahweh Bashim Yashar are manifest, and the children of the devil. It says, whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of Yahweh Bashim Yashar, neither he that loveth not his brother. Yes, so those in the world who don't love their brothers, love their own people, they're not of Yahweh Bashim Yashar, they're of the devil. We aren't supposed to give place unto the devil. We're not supposed to give place unto the devil. What's the example of giving place unto the devil is by not loving your brother. It says, for this is the message that you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. That's the message you've been hearing from the beginning. This ain't nothing new, and that's what separates you from those in the world. It says, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore he slew him, because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. We know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren. That's how we pass from death unto life. That's how we put to death, that old man. Is because, we now have love, for our brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Yeah, so if you don't love your brother, man, you abide in death. You haven't mortified your members, man, which are upon the earth. It says, verse 15, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer have eternal life abiding in him. Right? So, if you hate your brother, you're a murderer, and you don't have eternal life abiding within you. You're none of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, verse 16, hereby perceive we the love of Yahweh Shema Shai, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. Right? So just as Yahweh Shema Shai has given us mercy and grace, we are to give mercy and grace as well, man. That's what separates us from the world, because we're willing to lay down our lives. We're willing to put others before ourselves, man. Which, those in the world, they're not willing to put nobody before themselves, man. They presumptuous, they self-willed. They're about filling their own pleasures rather than, fulfilling the pleasures of others. Which that's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be about fulfilling the pleasures of others in righteousness, of course. Before we fulfill our own will. That's being presumptuous when you're being self-willed. We're supposed to be self-willed. We're supposed to be moving according to the will of the body of a Mashiach Yahushua. That's being members one of another. It says verse 17, but whoso have this world's good and see if his brother have need and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of Yahweh Shema Shai in him? Yeah, so if you see your brother have need, which we're supposed to be here for one another's needs, and you shut up your bowels of compassion, your bowels of mercy, which you're supposed to exhibit. That's how you put on for as the elect. It says, "How dwelleth the love of Yahweh Shemashah in him?" So you don't have the love of Yahweh Shemashah in you. If you're setting up your bowels of compassion, for those who have need. But you got regular people in the world who don't even do stuff like that. On the low level. You know what I'm saying? On a low level. How much more us within the faith, who, supposed to be in the image of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, we definitely should not be doing that. It says, verse 18, "My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." Yes, so that's how we love. Not by in word or in tongue. We can't love by in word and in tongue. You got to learn love by deed and in truth, man. That's what separates us from those in the world, because, you got people in the world that say, "I love you, I love you, I love you," but their deeds don't show it, their actions don't show it. Our actions has to back up, our love. It says, verse 19, "And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him." So this is how we know if we are of the truth, if we love it in deed and in truth, man. And that's how our minds are going to be assured before Yahweh Shai, by loving in deed and in truth, and by having compassion one to another. I think I probably can get the rest of these. I'm gonna try to grab them. This Hebrews 10 and verse 22. It says, "Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised." It said, so we're supposed to hold fast the profession of our faith, which our faith is shown through our works, our deeds, which, a work could be synonymous with a deed, which that's how we, are, edifying one another in love as well, Salakia. Verse 24, "And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works." So it says, "And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works." This is what we're supposed to provoke one another unto. Is to be, being compassionate, being charitable, being merciful, having humbleness of mind, being meek, and ultimately, doing the things that Yahweh Shemashah would require of us. It says, "Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is," right? Because people in the world, they don't give a fuck, man. It's a dog eat dog world, man. If long as I eat, I don't care about if somebody else eat. I got mine. Me and my family got mine. I got a family to feed. We don't supposed to be like that, man. We supposed to be like, nah. If my brother ain't ate, I ain't ate. That's how we supposed to rock out here. It says, "But exhorting one another." So we supposed to be exhorting one another, and so much the more as they see the day approaching. Yeah, man. So as we see, the time getting closer and closer, until the end, we're supposed to be, exhorting each other more and more, man. We're supposed to be assembling ourselves more and more together. We're supposed to be edifying each other more and more. We're supposed to be building each other up more and more, man. That's that's what separates us from those in the world, because we're getting prepared spiritually for what's going on. But these people in the world, they diving more and more into wickedness. Like I speak about in 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter, about how I say, how famine, and death, and these different calamities, just roughly paraphrasing, are sent as scourges for amendment, but these people, they still, they don't acknowledge it. This is Philippians chapter 2 verse 14. It says, "Do all things without murmurings and disputings." Yeah, so we're supposed to do all things without murmurings and disputings, man. Let's get the word. It say, "Do all things without murmurings and disputings." Let's get this word dispute. That's G1261, and that's disputing. Means the thinking of a man deliberating with himself, a thought, inward reasoning. Because why? Because we're supposed to, not be walking according to the vanity of our mind. It says purpose, design, and deliberating, questioning about what is true. So we're not supposed to be, oh, is this true or not? Well, the truth is here. It tell you what the truth is within these scriptures, man. This is the truth. We're supposed to be moving according to the scripts, which is the truth. You know, it says hesitation, doubting, disputing or arguing. So we're not supposed to be, debating, or causing contention or strife or arguing, doubting, you know, we just supposed to do things, man. Just do it, man. You know. What's the issue with doing the things that Yahweh Shemashah told you you're supposed to be doing? That's what the hell is there to dispute here? You know. It says verse 15 that ye may be blameless and harmless, and that's how we're going to be blameless and harmless, by doing things without murmurings or disputings. Because where strife is, so is every evil work. So we're supposed to abstain from strife, as much as possible. We're supposed to abstain from strife as much as possible, man. And that's what a true servant of Yahweh Shemashah, who's created of the knowledge of him, will be doing. It says that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of Yahweh, without rebuke. So if you're doing anything, you're doing all things without murmurings and disputings, you're gonna be blameless and harmless, and you're gonna be without rebuke. In the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. Yeah, so that's what makes us separate from those in the world. Because we do things without murmurings and disputings, and we know how Yahweh Shemashah felt about the murmurers in the time of Exodus, man. He wiped their ass out, man, because they was murmuring, man. And that's why we're not supposed to be murmuring or disputing, because Yahweh Shemashah gonna end up wiping our ass out, and we definitely not supposed to be doing it amongst each other, man. Because that's how we show our love towards Yahweh Shemashah. Let me get this. 1 Corinthians 6. This first Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. It says, dare any of you having a matter against another go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints? It says, do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world, and that the world shall be judged by you? Are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know ye not that ye shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? And if then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are less esteemed in the church, man. So ultimately, man, like, bro, this, like, we're supposed to be on a high level, man. We're supposed to be able to judge small matters, because Lord willing, if we those men, we're gonna be judging angels, man. So those who are least esteemed in the church, they're supposed to be put over certain small matters, man. And things within the church, man, because we're supposed to be on such of a high level, man, and that's what separates us from those in the world, man. Because we could judge small matters, man. We could judge we could judge character. We could judge things that we shouldn't be doing and what we should be doing. We know how to move according to the spirit, man. Let's go here, Salakia. Yeah, let's go here. This 2 Peter chapter 4 and verse 3. It says, Mr. Like it started too. This 2 Peter chapter 4 verse 2 is Salakia. Wrong chapter. 1 Peter, Salakia. It's 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 2. It says, this is 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 2. It says well, let me just start from 1. This is 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 1. It says, for as much then as a Mashiach have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourself likewise with the same minds, for he that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh Shema Shai, right? So we supposed to, you know, be suffering. We're supposed to have the same mind as Yahweh Shai Mashiach, which was all about suffering. So we're supposed to be acquainted with ourselves with suffering on all levels, man. Even to the point where we have to be long suffering one with another, you know. But that's how you submit yourself to the will of Yahweh Shema Shai, because that's what he wants from us. Speak about that in 1 Peter the 2nd chapter. It says, verse 3, it says, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness. They go that word lasciviousness again. Lust of excess, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquets, and abominable idolatries, so that's what we was doing in the world. We was reveling, being lasciviousness, having excess of wine, banqueting, abominable idolatries, which, evil concupiscence is idolatry, being stubborn is idolatry, so continuing in the way that you once were continuing in is idolatry, reveling. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if we can get it in online etymology. Reveling, criticize in an abusive or angrily insulting manner. Wow, revile. That's in Google, man. So that reviling somebody, man, is to criticize in an abusive or angrily insulting manner. We don't supposed to be doing that, man. That sounds like insolence to me. That's what people do in the world, man. They criticize some people and insult them in a bitter, evil way, man. We don't supposed to be doing shit like that, man. We're supposed to be new men after the image of Yahushua Mashiach, man. Let's read that a little bit more on this. Salakia. Verse 4, it says, I'll read 3 again. This 1 Peter 4:3, it says, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. So the people in the world, they think we off because we don't move like that. They supposed to be thinking that we're off because we we don't revel, or we're not insolent, or we're not banqueting, or we're not being stubborn. They supposed to think us evil for that. They're not supposed to think us evil because we are doing those things. You know what I'm saying? So what the hell separates you from them? If they looking at you like, bro, why the fuck you on that? And you supposed to be someone after the image of Yahweh Shema Shai. They supposed to be looking at you like, look how he carrying himself. Like you a weirdo. You acting like that. Because you're moving according to the image of Yahweh Shema Shai. The knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai, the ways of him. It says, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, who should give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead. For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to Yahweh by Shema Shai in the spirit. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be living according to Yahweh by Shema Shai in the spirit. It says, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So the end of all things are here. So we got to be clear-minded. We got to make sure we on point. It says, and above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. So charity gonna cover a multitude of sins. It says above all things have fervent charity, man. Among ourselves, man. for charity is gonna cover a multitude of sins. So that benevolence, that compassion, that covers a multitude of sins. Among ourselves. Among those of our nation, among those of the household of faith. You know, it says verse 9, used hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man have received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Yahweh Shem Shai, right? So if we have received gifts, we're supposed to be serving one another with these gifts, man. Not insulting and bashing one another with the gifts, man. That's just like these rap niggas in the world. You know what I'm saying? They get all this money, then they popping on like, I just spent 250 on a pinky ring, or 100,000 on his watch, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You broke niggas, you can't even afford to you can't even afford to get a meal for your kids or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that bro, you receive that gift, you gonna use that gift to bash on somebody with it. That's some fuck shit, you know. And that's and that's some shit that people are doing in the world. Us as men of the Lord, we don't supposed to be like that, man. We supposed to, as we have freely received, we supposed to freely give, But I'm gonna just get this right here. Matter of fact, let me get this jewel. I was gonna get that 1 Peter 5, but I brought that out in my last lesson, in the spirit. I'm gonna just get this jewel though. I'm gonna just get this Galatians. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it off. I'm gonna get this Jude 1-15 though. I'm in this Jude 15. This Jude chapter, what's like I was only one chapter, Jude verse 15. It says, to execute judgment upon all and to confess all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lusts, and their mouths speak of great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. But beloved, remember ye the words which were spoken before of the apostles of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time who should walk after their own ungodly lusts. These be they who separate themselves sensual, not having the spirit. Right. So if you're someone who speaking great swelling words because of man's persons in admiration, or you're being a murmurer or complainer, that's of those who have not separated themselves from sensuality, which that's the wisdom that's from below, and have not the spirit. So that's not of the spirit. It says, but yea, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Spirit, keep yourselves in the love of Yahweh Bashim Shai, looking for the mercy of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach unto eternal life. And if some have compassion, making a difference, So, and others say with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh, which that takes ultimate forbearance. Even if you're going to save somebody with fear, you still got to have ultimate forbearance, man. If you pulling them out of a fire, man, that's you forbearing some shit, man. You got to forbear the heat just to even be around the presence of fire, man. So that still takes a high level of compassion, man. Even if you saving somebody with fear, you gotta and you gotta know how to navigate and get out of a fire, man. If you a firefighter, you going to get somebody out of a fire, it's a certain type of way you gotta do it. You can't just pull them up out there, bitch. But this it right here. I'm just get this in Galatians 5. This Galatians chapter 5 verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." So we're supposed to walk in the spirit. If we're walking in the spirit, we're not going to fulfill the lust of the flesh and lust of our minds, the desires of our flesh, the desires of our mind. It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. So the spirit is combating against the flesh. That's why we gotta always make sure we're moving according to the spirit, because the flesh is always trying to overtake the spirit. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law, right? So if you're being led in the spirit, you're not under the law, because the fruits of the spirit are all righteousness, which thy law is righteous. It says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies. Which a heresy could be your damn opinion. With seditions, violent uprisings, uprisings amongst each other, strife, contentions, debates, you know, hatred, you know. It says envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, which we went into that, reveling, insulting, being insulting basically, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So you're not, you envying, you being a murderer, which if you hate your brother in your heart, you don't love your brother in your heart, you're a murderer. You're not going to inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Verse 22, it says, but the fruit of the spirit is love. So these are fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So there's no law against being loving, or being joyful and peaceful, having long suffering, being gentle, being meek, being temperate. And they that are Mashiachs have crucified the flesh with the afflictions and lusts, which we went into that in several scriptures. It says, if we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. So we don't supposed to be desiring vainglory, envying one another, wanting what another brother got, or, provoking one another, trying to provoke a brother to, say something off, or, provoke a brother to, anger. We don't supposed to be on shit like that. That's what people do in the world, man. We don't supposed to be desiring vainglory either. The only glory that we should be desiring is Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to get his glory. The Lord willing, through him, he'll glorify us, But that's it, man. I pray through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua this edifying. I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak.